Sylvester Stallone is not returning for Creed 3. Netflix has acquired the rights to a whole bunch of different Sony properties, including Spider-Man and Venom, and there may be another spin-off series for the greater Walking Dead universe. Guys, we're talking all of that stuff plus more. This is Let's Talk Movie News. Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
I'm Miguel.
And this is episode 1 of our brand new movie news show. New episodes of Let's Talk Movies are still dropping at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday evenings. But we kind of felt like our typical show was getting a little bit bogged down with the movie news portion. And of course, if we're talking a certain topic that you find interesting, you don't want to sit through 30 minutes of movie news to get to that topic. So here we are. We're starting a new show. This will drop every Friday night at 8 p.m. And this is Let's Talk Movie News. So without further ado, let's hop on in.
Let's hop in.
Let's hop in. Let's hop in.
Okay, we're done with that.
I don't know why. I don't know what the hell is up with YouTube lately, but as I've been scrolling, it keeps popping up like vines from like 2008.
Oh, I fucking love it.
I don't know
You
why.
gotta understand, whenever Vine like got shut down, I guess, or whatever, and everyone was pissed off, like YouTube just jumped on the gun. I don't know how they collected all of these videos, but they're like, hey, I'm collecting all these vines and I'm putting it on YouTube. So they
I don't know why it keeps popping up in my recommended though. It's just really weird and random. Like I didn't like search for vines. It just like I just started getting it. But see, vines are like a black hole where like you watch like one like 30-second video and then like 4 hours later you're just down a deep dark rabbit hole that you shouldn't be down.
But it's pretty much like TikTok. I literally had to get like a timer for my phone. I literally set up a timer like 15
unreal, man.
15 minutes is as long as I get on TikTok, then it cuts off. And then it has the option, do you want to delay that? And then I delay that shit for another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work.
I don't know. It was just weird. It was kind of funny and random. What you drinking tonight, by the way?
I am drinking a country boy. Actually, no, I'm kidding. It's a Heineken. Boy, the only thing we drink in this house is Heineken. I need to get sponsored. Heineken, sponsor me. Sponsor this show. You know how badass it's going to be if Heineken sponsors this? A fucking Belgian beer sponsoring a Mexican and an Italian talking about movies? Hell yeah. Sorry. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking. My wife, backstory. My wife and I went to Gatlinburg this weekend. And we went to Old Smoky and did the moonshine tasting. Pretty dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is it legal over there?
What?
Is it legal over there to moonshine? Oh wait, I don't know the whole moonshining laws.
I mean, yeah, it's just. I mean, like I don't really know it either, but like there's certain things that make it legal. But I found mango habanero whiskey at Old Smoky. And it kicked me right in the nuts. At first it's sweet. It's really, really sweet. And it tastes like you put a mango slice in your mouth. And then at the end, it's like, and it lights you up. And it's good. I have it mixed with some mango sparkling water right now, which I know is the most white guy thing ever.
But yeah, you can't. I don't ever find a brown person drinking seltzer.
It does taste good. So, with that being said. You're not here to listen to us. We're not here to listen to us bull crap with each other. First, a little bit of movie news that I found this week and that I thought was kind of interesting is that Bill Murray joined Ghostbusters 2 under some false pretenses.
Wait, so is he doing it or is he not doing it?
No, not Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters 2 from 1989.
What? Explain. What?
So, Bill Murray, when Ghostbusters 2 was released in 1989, Bill Murray joined the cast and joined the sequel under false pretenses, not really knowing what the film was gonna be. So I actually found this article on comicbook.com. Here's what Bill Murray had to say. Ghostbusters 2 ended up not being the story they wrote. He said this at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. He said, they got us in the sequel under false pretenses. Harold had this great idea, but by the time we got to shooting it, I showed up on set and went, what the hell is this? What is this thing? But we had already started shooting it, so we had to figure out how to make it work. That was a great bunch of people. Just to be together was great. Now, I don't know. The thing that begs the question for me is like, what was the original plan? Because obviously we know Ghostbusters Afterlife, which we just got that dope little like clip of the mini Stay Puft things.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, first of all, could we talk? That was like a little dark. Like it reminded me of Gremlins. Like when the Gremlins just kind of like go crazy and like they're drinking cocktails and smoking cigars and like they're tearing up the movie theater. Like it reminded me of that, because like the one they're making them into s'mores and like they're burning each other alive and destroy. It's just like it was just really funny. But obviously we had the original Ghostbusters, then Ghostbusters 2, and now Ghostbusters Afterlife. Well, Bill Murray is saying that basically he joined the cast of Ghostbusters 2 under the idea that it was going to be a different script and a different version of the movie than we actually got. So what begs my question is, what would the original script have been? What were they going to do?
Now I'm caught up.
You understand now?
Yeah, I understand now. It took me a while, guys. I'm sorry, but
it's okay. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, it happens. It's fine. But okay, so the script. So he got the script, and he was thinking. I guess he like pre-read the script, but when he got to the set, it turned out to be an entirely different thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there were similarities, but it sounds like it was something pretty drastic, because he went on to say, I probably like the first one better than the second one, just because the first cut is the deepest. We were in New York and we really made a mess in New York for a couple of months, but we had a lot of fun. People in New York will accept things, but those uniforms, when we rolled into places, people thought they've got these cool uniforms. They must be somebody. People thought we were legitimate. When we drove that car through red lights and one-way streets, it just looked like we were in charge of the situation. It was a lot of fun, that first one. We didn't get away with that much on the second one. And that's true. I mean, Ghostbusters 2 isn't as flashy and it isn't as like grand as the first one was. Yeah. That first Ghostbusters movie is great. It really is, in a whole lot of ways, man. It's fantastic. But
a cultural phenomenon.
It was. And I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting because I don't know. I just
you're wondering what the script could have been.
Yeah, like I would love to be the fly on the wall and know what the direction that they were taking from the first film.
Yeah,
because I mean that first film set up a series. You know what I mean? And really, we only got 2 of them, and then the remake from 2016.
Hey, it was good in its own rights. Don't knock it.
Okay, it was good in its own rights. And I'm not, before everybody's like, you didn't like it because it was all girls. I don't care if they make it all girls. That's fine. But the script and the movie was terrible. It just wasn't good.
Fair. And I just don't like
it. Wasn't the girl. The actors.
I don't like how they did my buddy. I don't like how they did my buddy Chris. I
know Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, I know. That was.
I was like, what?
I didn't like it. But he also went on to say that, he noted that his time on Ghostbusters Afterlife filming this new film was physically painful because he had to put on the proton pack again. So, I mean,
how old is Bill Murray? Jesus.
He's up there, man.
He's
probably in his 70s or his 80s.
Yeah, I guess
he's got to be in his 70s or his 80s.
Oh, bless his heart.
So I guess they're doing it again, man. Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray are putting the stuff on again, which is cool.
What the hell is Paul Rudd doing in the movie?
I don't know. I'm very curious because I don't know. When I found out that Finn Wolfhard and it was going to be like a largely kid-based cast or young adult cast.
Yeah.
my brain immediately went to like the Goonies or Stranger Things, or that it's going to be like a kid-based storyline. And I guess that's fine, but I feel like if you're going to do a real sequel to Ghostbusters 1 and 2,
you got to have the original cast.
Gotta have the original cast, and they can't just be a cameo. Like, I know there was a supposed leak a long time ago that had been debunked that they would come back as ghosts. I don't like that. I feel like that doesn't do them justice. That doesn't do the characters justice. No, so really. I'm just curious to see what the hell that story would have been from Ghostbusters 2. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
It would be interesting. I would be interested to see how that works out. Hopefully they like, because you know how like scripts are like technically leaked. Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of like unmade scripts that are leaked online. You know what I mean? Not even leaked. I think they just release them after a while. Like, hey, whatever. Yeah, it's never gonna get made, so like, take it. But
it kind of makes you think like how many like hidden gems there are.
Exactly.
We will never see the light of day.
Well, and it's kind of fun to just think about like what could have been. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. It's just fun to think about what could have been. But next thing that I thought was interesting, and I know this is going to be interesting to both of us, comes out of the Walking Dead universe and kind of moving forward. So we just had Here's Negan.
Yes.
Be sure to check out our whole Walking Dead series that we just did about each episode. We reviewed each episode. We talked through each episode. And Here's Negan was great. I think it's safe to say we both loved Here's Negan. We really did. It was a fantastic episode.
It's an elite episode, in my opinion. Very
elite
much.
Episode.
Elite, yes.
That's
just because the way it was written.
And
the way they like presented Negan as like this, fucking simp, and then turned into a badass, pretty much.
It was written really well.
Yeah, I liked it.
But this first little tidbit we got is about Here's Negan. And Angela Kang, who is the showrunner for the Walking Dead Mothership series, she was in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, and she said, "We wanted to bring back somebody that was a former savior, and this is no knock against our Laura, or many know her as Barcode. We love that actor, and she's wonderful, and it worked out great. But our original desire was to get Dwight back, because obviously Dwight is who appears in the Here's Negan comic." That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah. But isn't Dwight still in Fear of the Walking Dead?
Yeah, Dwight's like a main character in Fear of the Walking Dead now, which I really need to get caught up on Fear of the Walking Dead. That's going to be, we have like 5 weeks of school left. That's going to be my summer project. I'm going to get caught up on Fear of the Walking Dead because I finished World Beyond. I'm caught up on The Walking Dead. But Fear, I made it through the first 3 seasons of Fear, and I just stopped watching. I don't know. It kind of got slow for a while, and I think that's partially why I just kind of fell off of it. But from what I hear, Fear the Walking Dead is great now.
Is it?
So I
don't know if he was left alive in that. The only time I kind of stopped watching whenever what's his name, the dad died.
Travis.
Sorry. Spoiler alert if you guys haven't seen it.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
My bad, guys. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, give me a break, man. He's like he's like a next Rick. He's pretty cool.
I know. And that kind of turned me off too, was like they killed so many of the main characters, like right off the bat, and I was like, why would you do that? Like that'd be like killing Rick at the beginning of season 2. Like that doesn't make any sense. You set up this whole thing and then you're just gonna end it. Like that's just weird.
It's very Game of Thrones-ish, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh wait, I forgot. This man doesn't watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I don't watch Game of Thrones.
You got to, man.
That is a hot take. I am not a
it's a slow burn. Come on.
I'm not.
Okay, hold up. Okay, let's talk about that real quick. What do you not like about Game of Thrones?
It's not Game of Thrones itself.
Okay.
It's Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit or Game of Thrones. Anything that's like fantasy, medieval-ish kind of thing. It's never been my cup of tea. Even like Zelda and I don't know, just stuff like that. It's never did it for me ever since I was a kid. Like people flipped out when The Hobbit came out, and like when the Lord of the Rings ended. I can't do it, man. I have not sat through a whole Lord of the Rings movie.
I have not seen the Lord of the Rings.
I just can't do it. And the same thing with I mean, Game of Thrones is okay. I probably will sit down and watch it at some point, but
It's just the way the story itself is. I'm sorry. This is a hot take, and guys in the comments, please let me know if I'm fucking wrong. Uh, I personally think Game of Thrones, the story of Game of Thrones, I feel like I like that better than Lord of the Rings, even though I haven't seen it. Even though that opinion is probably like invalid, I don't fucking care. But I
I
still
don't
think
think
Game
it's
of
invalid.
I think if I were to look at it face value, Game of Thrones series has a better story than Lord of the Rings. Eat my ass, brothers.
God.
Just
Hot take.
saying. That's
Anyways,
my hot
moving
take.
on back to The Walking Dead. So yeah, they were gonna bring Dwight back on the show, and I thought that was pretty cool. But I'm glad that they brought Laura. She went on to say, Angela King went on to say, we were like, okay, well, let's think about our other saviors, who is a sympathetic former savior. And most of them are not really, which most of the saviors were not sympathetic.
They were assholes.
But Laura was always a savior that you go like, she doesn't seem that bad, and then she joined our heroes until Beta killed her, and of course Beta killed her in season 10. And of course Angela King, or no, not Angela King, the writer of the episode of Here's Negan said, well, wouldn't it be interesting if we did this way and she's with this medical group? Because for the people who know the comic, Lucille basically died almost right away in the apocalypse. So there wasn't this whole story about how she had to get chemo during the beginning part of the apocalypse. All of this is original to our show, but she seemed like the right person that fits the story, where you'd believe she had a benign start to the apocalypse, and basically Negan admired her for her strength, and that's how she came to cross with him. And I think that works. I think it works for the Here's Negan comic series, or the comic story, to have Dwight, but I think for the TV episode, it really worked to have Barcode in there. And I thought she was great. And in the whole series, I always liked her. I thought she was really cool. Even when she was a savior and when she was kind of like bitchy, I still thought she was a cool character.
She's a pretty complex person.
She is a complex character, but even the actress, Lindsley Register, I follow her on Instagram. She's dope. But I thought what they did with Here's Negan was great. Here's the kicker. And here's the thing that I find fairly interesting.
Okay.
This is also from comicbook.com. And this article says, The Walking Dead Network gauging interest in a Negan spinoff after the success of Here's Negan. So here's what this article had to say. An AMC network survey is gauging interest in a Jeffrey Dean Morgan-led Walking Dead spinoff after telling Negan's backstory in Here's Negan, the prequel episode, which reveals Negan's origin story as the caretaker of his cancer-stricken wife, Lucille, with flashbacks to the original months of the zombie apocalypse. Also introduces the first future savior when Laura, Lindsley Register, hands Negan the baseball bat he'll ultimately use to subjugate Rick Grimes and his group of survivors. After Here's Negan, the network is surveying select viewers about their interest in additional episodes or series exploring Negan's backstory prior to meeting Rick's group. So that says to me this would be less about Negan before the Here's Negan storyline. And this is going to be about Negan after the Here's Negan storyline. So it's going to be
basically before we see him come out of that.
Yeah, in between Here's Negan, basically in between Lucille's death and when Rick's group meets him. I would watch that. That sounds more interesting than any of the Walking Dead spinoffs we have, and I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Now, and I shouldn't say that. Really, World Beyond. I think I would rather see that than a Daryl and Carol show.
I'm not gonna lie, same. Even though I like the whole Daryl and Carol relationship, it's not series worthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, I will watch the Daryl and Carol spinoff. I promise I will, because I want to see where the story goes. But you know, I think there's a lot to go off of with Negan. I think there's a lot to say there.
Yeah, there's so much known, but also so much that we don't know about Negan still.
Well, and it would be interesting to see how because, you know, Negan's a con man. He really is. And he has a way with words, and he knows how to group people and to bring people together. Because I mean, he didn't strike me at the beginning of the episode, of the Here's Negan episode. He didn't strike me as someone who has the strength to pull people together out of fear. But I mean, if you watch, the All Out War arc in the show, they were afraid of Negan. Like they even the saviors feared Negan. I mean, they feared him to the point they were willing to die for him. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see, and how did he corral this group, and how did he bring them together? How did we get to the point where Negan was alone? He had just lost his wife, and he was kind of lost. Like he kind of just lost it, to the point where he was the leader of this huge group, and they were just kicking ass and taking names of everybody that they met. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I would like to see how he was able to formulate that group, because obviously, how can I say this? Even though Negan like went full 180 at the end of Here's Negan, but I feel like he still had a lot more to grow and learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure like he had a lot more trial and errors when he got the Saviors, because again, the Saviors is a huge group, and to be able to culminate a group like that, I mean, it takes like a lot of leadership, which again, Negan honestly didn't really have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, we saw him grow a whole lot in an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine his story arc and it would be a dark story arc. Like I don't think that's an example of where, like, if you really wanted to go balls to the wall, you could, because the saviors are not, they don't care. Like he didn't care. I mean, the man had he had all those wives, and he just I don't know. That would be wild.
They were very barbaric.
They were.
It's like, respectfully barbaric. And it'd be interesting to see this series, because it would definitely put, how can I say this? It would put the perspective as the saviors as the heroes, because Negan always thought of himself as like the hero of the story.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see, because when we first saw the saviors, they were just a bunch of assholes, a bunch of villains that killed people.
Yep.
But in their eyes, they thought they were helping the world.
You grew more sympathetic to the saviors as that story arc went on. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. And that's why I think this series probably sounds more interesting, because we would get to see how they grew from their eyes. Like they think everything they're doing is right. Yeah. So that would be interesting to see. And then it would be fun to like compare it to Rick's group and how they came together. Yeah. Because honestly, yeah, it would be dope. We obviously see some new characters that obviously didn't make it to that point, but it'd be interesting to see all these new characters and see how they every other season there's like a moral compass, and whoever's the moral compass gets to kick the bucket.
Well,
I would like to see more of those.
It's interesting that you mentioned other characters, because this article went on to say, the Walking Dead showrunner Angela Kang has revealed that there are no plans to tell more Negan backstory in the 24 episode 11th and final season. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan had said that no doors are closed to a second Negan prequel after Here's Negan. The episode is a partial adaptation of Robert Kirkman and Charlie Adler's 16-part comic origin story of the same name, which goes on to reveal Negan's beginning as the leader of the Saviors after the death of his wife. Now, Jeffrey Dean Morgan said that there are talks, and that there have been some talks about a Negan spinoff. He said that on Jimmy Kimmel Live. But he also said that, I think that between AMC and the good folks involved with The Walking Dead, they've asked if there's any interest on my end, but I think they've also talked to many of the characters to see who's interested in carrying on the story, not just Negan. So I guarantee you they're talking about other saviors, other key saviors. The ones that Daryl blew up with the rocket launcher. Do you remember that when they cornered them?
I remember that. It was so badass, and
it was badass.
I was honestly so surprised by that because I was like, "Where the fuck did this come from? Where the
Yeah.
hell did the rocket launcher come from?" When I saw that, I honestly thought to myself, I was like, "What the fuck is this show coming to?" It went from like sticks and knives to pistols and shotguns
Yeah.
to rifles and machine guns, and then boom, bazooka. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, but I guarantee you, they would want to bring them back. Obviously, Dwight would have to be there. Dwight and Sherry would both have to be there.
I would like to see their story unfold.
I would like to see their story too. Yeah,
they talked about that story because wait, Dwight's wife, that was technically one of Negan's wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, she was married. She was married to Dwight, like before the apocalypse, but Negan took her as one of his wives. And even in Fear the Walking Dead, there's some tension between Dwight and Sherry because of Negan. So that would be kind of interesting to show their backstory. Guy from what's his name from GTA?
Oh, that guy.
God,
I think his name is Travis.
Maybe.
I think it's Travis.
No, what's his name in the show? In The Walking Dead.
I think it's Travis.
I can't think of his name. I don't think it's Travis.
I'm almost certain it's Travis. Watch.
Look it up. Look it up.
So right. Sorry, I am thinking of my guy from Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, that I was like, that's not Travis. What's his name? Look it up.
It's gonna be Steven. Trevor. I was close.
What?
It's Trevor.
No, Trevor's the GTA character.
That's what I was saying. That's what you were talking about.
No, what's his name in The Walking Dead? The Savior. What's the Savior's name? I'm drawing a blank here.
It's Steven?
Oh my God.
Steven Orgus is his name.
Yes.
And then he's also honestly, I'm trying so hard to be as quick as possible to find it.
I cannot believe this.
I'm pretty
Simon.
I love how we found out immediately. God. Fucking hilarious. Guys,
there we go. Simon. Wow. How unprofessional we are.
Yeah, we didn't.
Simon, I would love to see Simon return. All of that to say, I want Simon to come back on The Walking Dead if they do this Negan spinoff. But that sounds really interesting to me. I would love to see that. So, my legendary boy.
Okay.
Next little bit of movie news.
Okay.
Comes to us from Bloody Disgusting. You know Ancient Aliens?
The documentary?
That history like docu-series?
Yeah, it's like that meme where the guy's like this.
Yeah, the guy who looks stoned and he's like, aliens.
Yeah. Aliens.
What Legendary has tapped the creators of Cobra Kai to adapt a film based on the Ancient Aliens concept.
Wait. Okay, so because you said Cobra Kai, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, is it me Kung Fu in this?
No. Here's the article from Bloody Disgusting.
Okay.
It says, the highly memeable History Channel series Ancient Aliens is now being turned into a feature film, The Hollywood Reporter reports, with the creators of the Cobra Kai series on board, the UFO. Josh Heald is directing for Legendary Entertainment with Luke Ryan, if I can speak, scripting. Ancient Aliens is a pseudo-documentary series that had been airing since 2009 and dealt with pseudoscience and the idea that extraterrestrial beings visited Earth in ancient times, sometimes provoking cultures and thinking that they were gods. The site explains that the film will be a two-handed, globe-spanning adventure featuring ancient sites and artifacts confronting the theories and questions raised by the popular docu-series. Is it going to be fiction?
It's going to be historical fiction.
I feel like this is going to be the Da Vinci Code on crack.
I feel like what's going to happen is that they're going to like Is it going to be a series or like a feature film?
I don't know. I feel like this is something where they're like, oh no, there's only gonna be one. It's just gonna be one feature film. And then we're gonna be what's happening with Saw, where we're gonna be on like Saw 10. It's like that's something that I feel like spirals really, really quickly because you could go anywhere with it. Like it's so off the wall and it's so out in left field. Like where do
Yeah.
you end
Also,
with that? You know what I mean?
I mean, you technically can't because I mean, there's always because the reason why Ancient Aliens is so popular is because I mean, there's so many moments in history where like certain things have happened and they just contributed to aliens. It's like
Yeah.
that's why the meme is like that. It's like anything like uh unheard of that happens in a certain point in time in history, everyone's just like aliens. So like it'd be interesting. I would love to see I would love to
Everybody
see
turns into
this.
Fox Mulder.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to see this a series, but like an anthology. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I read that article and I was like, what?
I like it.
I mean, I like it. I think it could be really interesting. It just sounds very like, how much crack did you smoke to come up with that? Like, I feel like somebody just like sat around a campfire and got really drunk and was like, I got an idea for a movie.
I'm almost certain the same thing could have happened with
Aliens. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know that. I'm sure those fucking writers smoked pot when they wrote X-Files.
Probably.
I'm sure the people smoked pot when they wrote Warehouse 13. Like these movies are just like so out of the ordinary, but
Yeah.
they're so great. And I am all
Um,
for this one. If Legendary's back in this, I'm all for it. Because
they
Legendary
are.
has got some great films. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. Is it
Yeah.
wait. Is it gonna be like a Cinemark movie or is it just gonna be like a
I
streaming?
think if Legendary and Warner Brothers are back in it, I think it's going to be a film, like a in the movie theater film.
Mm.
It's a major motion film,
Then I
motion
would
picture.
prefer that to be a anthology. I don't want to see sequels.
Mm.
Like different movies. I want to
That
see
where you
different
could
movies.
explore,
Yeah,
you could
certain.
explore that fictional world without beating the horse to death.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree with that. I think I would completely agree with that.
I like the whole idea of like I don't know why this came to my head. I love the idea of anthologies. Have you ever seen the Ballad of Buster Scruggs
Mm-mm.
on Netflix?
I've heard of it, but I've never watched it.
Yo, like I was hesitant of that movie at first,
Yeah,
but it turned out to be absolutely great. You know why? Because none of the stories, because the way the Ballad of Buster Scruggs is, it's like I think it's four stories that are not connected, but they take place at a certain period in time, which is obviously the Western.
right.
And it's just short films where it has a story of these characters and they go through their
Yeah,
spiel and never works out for any of them. But again, that's what makes it so great because I mean, like, there's no need to connect anything. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
anthologies are great because they don't connect anything.
right.
And when you see one story, that's it. That's all the story you got, and
Yeah,
then it continues with another story. I think that's beautiful in its own right because again, we all live in this cinema time where everything has to be connected and there's universe building. But
yeah,
when you tone it down and then you have anthologies where it's like you get this amount of time and we get to talk about this story
yeah.
and there's nothing next.
Just go completely bonkers for an hour and a half and then
Yeah.
switch it all up. That's what Halloween was originally supposed to do. It was supposed to be an anthology series. It wasn't supposed to be all about Michael Myers.
Hmm.
Every single film was supposed to be like a different, like weird, creepy story about Halloween. But of course that didn't happen because
Michael Myers just killed it.
people love your homeboy.
Mhm.
They
I
love him.
Now that I think
But
about that, that would have been great. It would have been like
yeah.
a tale, because you know how Tales of the Crypt. You know those?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
like those shows. Which, by the way, are fucking scary. No matter
Yeah.
how old you are, those movies are
Like Who's Afraid of
scary.
the Dark for adults. Or
Yeah,
Goosebumps for adults. Yeah.
yeah.
It'd be cool. I think you'll actually like Halloween 3 when we watch it because Halloween 3, they did Halloween 1 and 2 and they were sequels. And then after Halloween 2, they were like, we're done. Like Dick Warlock kept the mask, he kept the overalls, like he kept everything. They were like, we're done. Like we're not touching Michael Myers anymore. That's the end. And they did Halloween 3, and Halloween 3 has nothing. I mean nothing to do with the rest of the franchise. It is literally, you could remove it and not miss a beat. And it's cool. It was hated at the time, but it's become a cult classic. I love Halloween 3. I think it's awesome, and I actually think you'll really enjoy it once we watch it. We'll do a commentary on that.
Oh, because it's gonna be streaming, isn't it?
What?
Halloween 3? No, I'm thinking of the new Halloween movie.
You're thinking of Halloween Kills, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Halloween 3 came out in the 80s.
Oh,
we're way past that.
I gotcha.
So next little bit I wanted to talk about, and this one kind of hurts a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, because we the last episode of our main show we talked about the 70s, and one of those films we brought up was Rocky and the Rocky franchise. I'm a big Rocky. I've always been a Rocky fan. My dad was a Rocky fan. My brother's got a Rocky poster hanging in his room. And a fan asked Stallone on Instagram, now that Creed 3 has been greenlit and that it's actually happening, and we know Michael B. Jordan is going to direct that film, will you be involved? And Sylvester Stallone replied, it will be done, but I won't be in it. Keep punching. That sucks.
What, are they going to kill him off?
I don't know. And I almost wonder if there was a dispute, or if he didn't agree with part of the storyline, or if there was something behind the scenes that was going on that he didn't agree with. So that's why he said he wouldn't do the project. But yeah, that really sucks that Sly's not going to be in it. I mean, he is the heart of that series, man. And Creed is great. I really enjoyed Creed 1 and Creed 2. But I feel like if you take Rocky out of the equation, it's going to be a little strange, because it's going to be strange to be in Rocky's world without Rocky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because, like, I don't know. It's like his legacy is so, like...
It's his legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is his legacy. But here's what Michael B. Jordan had to say about the whole thing. He said, directing has always been an aspiration, but the timing had to be right. Creed 3 is that moment, a time in my life where I've grown more sure of who I am, holding legacy in my own story, maturing personally, growing professionally, and learning from the greats like Ryan Coogler, most recently Denzel Washington, and other top-tier directors that I really respect. All of which sets the table for this moment, this franchise, and in particular, the themes of Creed 3 are deeply personal to me. I look forward to sharing the next chapter of Adonis Creed's story with the awesome responsibility of being its director and its namesake. I get what he's trying to say, and let me say this, I'm really happy for Michael B. Jordan that he gets to helm this thing and really make it his own. That's cool. Like I'm down for that. But it just makes me wonder what happened behind the scenes with Sylvester Stallone, because I feel like he loves that series, and I feel like he would have gone back for Rocky 30, if you know what I mean, if it was possible. So I really kind of feel like maybe it was something script wise or contract wise that Sylvester Stallone was like, you know what, if we're not going to do this, I'd rather just completely stay out of it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I'm bummed to see him not be a part of it, because I mean, he's the heart of that whole series, man. What do you think?
I agree. And I don't know. I again, like, I liked Creed 1 and 2. I think Michael B. Jordan is doing a fantastic job filling the shoes of Creed in the movie. And honestly, he's doing a pretty good job with living up to the legacy of Sylvester Stallone. Granted, his storyline, his coming up story is different from Rocky, but at the same time, it still carries just as much weight. And it's honestly, his story makes sense for our time. For many young boxers that are trying to come up into the world now, it makes sense. So I think the Creed franchise, I guess you can call it the Creed franchise, is no longer the Rocky franchise.
Yeah, it's the Creed franchise.
So the Creed franchise I don't know, it just connects more with this generation, to be honest.
It
You
does.
know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's bringing the Rocky legacy to a new generation. But
Mhm.
the only thing is, if you're bringing the Rocky legacy to a new generation, you're not having Rocky in it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I know it's Adonis's story. It's about him. But if you take Mickey out of Rocky's story, it's not the same.
Yeah.
So I feel like Rocky was his rock to that was a terrible pun, and I didn't even intend it to be in pun. Hey, rock. I didn't intend it to be in pun, but I just
Yeah.
it happened. Um but yeah,
You sound depressed as fuck
I
on this
am
one.
I'm a little upset about this one, man.
Dang, man.
I don't know. I hate that it's not gonna be that we're not gonna get him, but
I
it's
know,
okay.
man. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I still have high hopes for Creed 3, and I really am very happy for Michael B. Jordan that he gets to helm this thing, because
Mhm.
I think he's a very talented guy. I really do.
Talented,
I
great
like him a
actor.
lot.
Mhm.
I really do.
And I think he'll do a good job. It will be sad to not see Sylvester Stallone. I hope they give him a good send off. That's the way I think about it.
That's the thing, is I hope, like, if there's like a little 3-minute exposition at the beginning about how Rocky died and he's trying to cope with that, like, no, like,
Mhm.
Rocky helped him get to the point he's at. So I feel like Rocky dying would mean more. Like when Mick died in what was it, Rocky? I don't even know what Rocky it was.
Rocky
They
3.
all in Rocky 3, when Mick died, they all kind of blend together. Um, that was a big deal. Like, that was a groundbreaking moment for that franchise.
Mhm.
And even for Rocky's character, that was monumental for his character. Like, his rock, his person that drove him, besides Adrian. I did it again, didn't I?
Yeah, you didn't know the pun.
It's okay. It's okay. Um,
You're aging like 10
it,
years with every pun
I
you
am.
make.
I am. I'm growing gray hair under my
Yeah.
hat as we speak. Um, but yeah, when Mick died, Rocky lost his sidekick. He lost the guy that pushed him. Um, and that weighed on him. That was hard for him.
Mhm.
So I feel like if they just play this thing off like, oh, Rocky's gone, moving on, it's going to be kind of strange. It's going to be very, very, very strange. So that's kind of my take on Creed 3. I'm rooting for it still. I'm not hoping it
Yeah,
bombs. I
like
hope
I
it's
hope.
great.
Listen, guys, if you guys get upset with the fact that Sylvester Stallone's not going to be in Creed 3, and you boycott it by not watching it,
Yeah, don't do
you
that.
guys are jackasses.
Don't
Let's
do
be
that.
honest. Okay, look, Creed is going to be a great movie. Michael B. Jordan is doing solid. Okay, honestly, unless there's like some real deep shit that's going on, they're like cutting Rocky, they're cutting Sylvester Stallone out, and it's like some real like deep like fucked up shit. By all means, do whatever you got to do. But if it's just like a matter of just like disagreement with a script or contract, like that's the way cinema business goes. Like
Yeah,
shit like that happens.
I don't even necessarily think that they're booting Rocky out. So the way Sylvester Stallone worded his Instagram comment kind of made me think that he said he wouldn't do it, which is
Hmm.
just strange, because again, I feel like he'd have done that forever.
Yeah.
I think he would. I think he loved that role. That role was his baby. He wrote it. He brought it to life. So I feel like it's kind of. I don't know why he's letting it go,
Yeah,
but
it's odd. It's odd, and I would definitely want to keep tabs on the story just so we know more
yeah,
about it.
for sure. As we wrap up here, I saved all the Marvel news till the end. Um, this first one isn't really, and it's kind of funny. Um, it's kind of funny looking at the working titles for films, um, and seeing how they relate. For example, Godzilla versus Kong's working title was Apex, which obviously I had originally thought Apex was like Apex Predator, and then of course we realized Apex was Apex Cybernetics with Mecha Godzilla and all that stuff.
Hmm.
The working title for Halloween Kills is Mob Rules. We know there's going to be a mob in Halloween Kills. Spoiler alert, Miguel. Sorry, you'll be fine.
It's fine.
But Captain Marvel 2 has begun filming. And the working title for Captain Marvel 2, are you prepared?
Okay.
Goat rodeo.
The fuck?
That's what I said, man. It's called goat rodeo. I was like, what? Like, it's usually like I feel like there's two trains of thought. I feel like it's something completely random and out in left field just to be like whatever, or it's some like weird Easter egg that like somehow ties into it. I don't know if goat rodeo ties in to Captain Marvel at all. I think it's I thought it was kind of funny. But
we may hear like a slight comment on goat rodeo, and I'm gonna fucking die. Like, it's gonna be fucking great.
And I was starting to get really into it. I was like, are the goats the Skrulls? Is that like symbolism for the Skrulls and the I don't know. I was just I just thought it was pretty funny. But all of that to say that Captain Marvel 2 is in production.
Okay.
So that was kind of funny.
It'll be exciting to see. I can't wait to see it. I'm not
Absolutely. All right, Into the Spider-Verse 2. We know that's been confirmed. The first one was highly successful. It was a great movie. It was great. Christopher Daniel Barnes, who played Peter Parker and Spider-Man in the 1990 Spider-Man the Animated Series,
yes,
is in talks to return as the 1990, I believe it premiered in 1994 and it ran through 1998. He's in talks to reappear as the Spider-Man from Spider-Man the Animated Series in Into the Spider-Verse Part 2.
Didn't he do that in the post-credit scenes?
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, did you not know? Like, in the post-credit scenes,
I don't think that Spider was in the post-credit scene.
Wait, I'm thinking of the cartoon. Are we talking about a live action?
No, we're talking
series?
about the cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon was in there.
Wasn't there only Spider-Man 2099?
It was Spider-Man 2099, and he goes back in time, with the goober, and he goes to the 1990 Spider-Man, and they did the meme thing where it's like, the meme where it's like the different Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Yeah.
They recreated that.
I guess I need to go back and watch it. But he's in talks to do that movie, which would be dope. Because I remember watching, that was my Spider-Man show when I was a kid, man. Watching that Spider-Man the Animated Series. It was great. Do you remember watching that?
I'd never watched it.
I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not ashamed to say this. It's on Disney Plus, and I rewatched it. I did. It was great.
No shame.
Bombadi, bombada.
I honestly,
it was great, man.
I'm down
great
for like
theme.
I'm down for what the MCU is doing with the whole Spider-Man thing, but there's so many different cartoon Spider-Mans that they just like the Into the Spider-Verse is just prime. If you want to make a Into the Spider-Verse thing, like what they're doing with the Miles Morales, like that's prime. You could almost add anybody you want.
You could do anything. And I've seen a lot of people who are like, why don't they just go balls to the wall with this live action Spider-Man No Way Home Spider-Verse? And I was like,
they're just limited.
But you can't go too crazy because we already have an emotional connection to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. You want to see what happened to their version of that character. Plus you have to flesh out Tom Holland's story. So that's already like a lot going on between three of them. If you try to add in like 6 or 7 or 8 or even 9, that gets to be a little like, that's a little much. We're starting to get a little bogged down now. But I think that'll be pretty cool. Last thing I got, and this is probably the most interesting. Netflix and Sony have struck a deal that allows Netflix to acquire the rights to a whole bunch of different Sony properties.
I heard about that. That's pretty dope.
That includes Spider-Man and Venom and their group of characters. So all of the Spider-Man films plus the Venom film will be on Netflix. But I think it'll begin in 2022.
Oh, okay.
So
But it's not gonna be like HBO Max where it comes out whenever the movie comes out. It's gonna be like how it always been. Like it's gonna come out in theaters, and then within the next couple of months
it'll
after,
be on Netflix.
it'll be on Netflix like that,
Well,
which I honestly hated.
the
I
the
hated that
the
idea.
interesting thing is it's not exclusively going to Netflix.
Mm,
Sony still reserves the right to put like whatever films come after No Way Home, they still reserve the right to put them on other streaming platforms. So say we really get a fourth Spider-Man film, and that's the beginning of a new Tom Holland trilogy, as we've talked about with like his college years,
mm-hmm.
that will still be able, say they want to, I hope COVID will be better by then. But if they want to keep the same formula and they want to keep putting the films on Disney Plus or HBO Max or Peacock or whatever the case may be, in this case, it would probably be on HBO Max and Disney Plus. If they really wanted to do that, they still could. But I think Netflix is just in on that too now. So that's kind of how I understood it. Um, it was also a record-setting agreement. Netflix paid $1 billion to Sony over the course of 4 years for Spider-Man and Venom.
Jesus, they think
That's a
that movie's gonna. Yeah, I about to
lot.
say, you think that movie's gonna pop the box office?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be included in that, but we'll have to see. I don't know.
We'll have to see for sure.
We will have to see. So it'll be interesting. And will Venom Let There Be Carnage? Really, we'll have to see if Venom Let There Be Carnage and Spider-Man No Way Home will be a part of that, because, and then that also begs are the Tobey Maguire, is the Maguire trilogy and the Garfield series going to be on there too?
I love how you're about to say trilogy.
I really did. I almost said trilogy.
Yeah, no, R.I.P. man.
Rip.
They did not get a third film.
Yeah.
I think it could.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's just weird keeping track of like what companies is connected with what streaming service.
Yeah, and there was a are you talking about a third Garfield film?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a rumor, unconfirmed rumor, that Sony and Disney are working on a deal to do a fourth Maguire film and a third Garfield film. Now,
please don't.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I kind of think you could probably wrap up both of their angles and their story arcs in this Spider-Verse movie. I don't think you really need to go back and revisit either one of those. I think Tobey Maguire's trilogy had a pretty good ending. And I think Andrew Garfield's, honestly, I'm okay with the Amazing Spider-Man ending where it did. You know, I hate that Gwen Stacy died, but at the same time,
it needed to happen.
It had a really good ending. Like, it really did. I thought it was a decent ending. I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh no, I was talking about my comments saying like Gwen Stacy was being basically written to die. Like
she was.
That's basically how it was.
But that it worked for the story that they were trying to tell. So I don't know if there's any truth. The problem with it, in my eyes, is that I don't think Disney's going to want to compete with themselves. Disney and Sony, really, because they've struck this deal with Tom Holland. If they like you said, it's going to get confusing. If they really want to keep pushing this Tom Holland storyline, and what we talked about back in episode 2 was correct with this No Way Home finishing out this initial trilogy, and then there being a college years trilogy, and then there being an adult trilogy where you introduce Miles somewhere in there, and crossover with Venom, plus if you have to finish out Andrew Garfield's trilogy, plus if you do a fourth Tobey Maguire film, plus you have the end of the Spider-Verse movies, like it's going to be like Spider-Man overload at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just, I think it would be, we would get it. Hardcore, greasy, sweaty Marvel fans would get it. But to your everyday moviegoer or to a kid, they're going to be like, why are there 86 Spider-Mans? Like, which one is like what? Which one is which? Like, I want to see him. I don't want to see him. I want to see this one. I don't want to see that one. I want to see, like, it's just going to be like two all over the board.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree.
Yeah.
I know that, how can I say this? I know that for like, usual moviegoers, it's so hard to like keep track of it. I know because you and I both know, like, we've had to like explain like what's going on in these movies to people that are not like in depth with the story, and it's tough. And can you imagine just doing like having to explain more and more if there's more Spider-Man movies coming out left and right? Yeah, I would get tired of it. Even I would get tired of it. So,
but guys, that is going to do it for episode 1 of Let's Talk Movie News. If you have not already, please subscribe to our channel and leave this video a like and a comment. What did you think of this week's movie news? Please be sure to check out our main show, our mothership show, which is just called Let's Talk Movies, and that releases on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this show will continue to drop at 8 p.m. on Fridays. So we'll have the main show where we're talking just different movie topics. Next week, we're talking the 1980s. It's the middle part of our decades trilogy. So episodes 17, 18, and 19. We're talking the 1970s, the 1980s, and the 1990s in movies. And we'll continue to talk each week's movie news on Let's Talk Movie News. So we hope everything is good in your world. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at We Talk the Movies, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace out. Bye.
Peace.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Deuces.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Hasta luego.
Bye. Goodbye.